Surveillance video of a man crawling inside this gas station. Now deputies need your help identifying him.
A former University of Kentucky professor learns his sentence after pleading guilty to wire fraud.
We are called when things are bad. We try to fix a situation. This is a situation we cannot fix. We can just try and help.
A central Kentucky community is stepping up to help a police officer battling cancer.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening. Deputies in Laurel County hope new surveillance photos and video will help them track down a thief. Deputies say last week someone broke into Mac's filling station and got away with cigarettes, lottery tickets, and several other items.
But the owners say it's the thousands of dollars worth of damage that is really upsetting. Kristen Kennedy is in Laurel County. She has our top story at 5:30.
To have a burglar break in the way this man did is unusual.
First they cut the fence and then they jump in.
Tony Patel says the guy tried getting into his family's convenience store through the back door.
He tries to pull this thing.
When that didn't work, Patel says the burglar and probably a buddy started pulling the wall off the ground.
They unscrew it first, and then I think there was one guy who was pulling it from here outside, and the other guy just went in.
Once inside,
he pulls this door, like you can see these marks over here.
Patel says he broke the door that leads into the actual store.
He takes all the money, and then he takes money from this register too. Takes money from here too. Yeah. And he takes cigarette cartons and stuff like that. He took all of them.
Surveillance shows the man was inside the store for 30 minutes. And the Patels tell us they have motion sensors connected to an alarm system, but that those sensors never went off.
If it went off, I could have came here and stopped them, you know. And the police have came here too.
Grainy surveillance video.
He's going to crawl right back out the way he came in.
Is all Laurel County Deputy Gilbert Achardo now has to try and catch the burglar. He's relying on someone to recognize this man and help the Patels figure out who hit their business.
These are independent operators. They're trying to make a living. They're usually working their store all by themselves, and it's really hard work for them. And when you do $15,000 damage and theft, then you're really hurting the business bad.
In Laurel County, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
The Patels are looking into getting a new alarm system. They believe that 2 or 3 people helped the burglar break in.
A former University of Kentucky professor convicted of misusing more than $400,000 of the university's money learned how long he'll spend in prison. Today, Daniel Tao was sentenced to 1 year in prison for wire fraud. A judge also ordered him to pay a $10,000 fine, more than $59,000 in restitution to UK, and more than $2,000 in restitution to a private company where he worked as a consultant.
An anonymous tip led deputies to a man they say escaped from a police cruiser. Yesterday, deputies found Billy Joe Boggs at a home in Nancy. Last month, they say he escaped from a cruiser in Cumberland after police had taken him into custody. They say he also grabbed evidence from the front seat and the officer's flashlight and cell phone. Boggs is now in the Pulaski County Detention Center.
It's a hot and humid day, and many places have hit 90 degrees for the first time this year.
And it looks like the humidity will be sticking around at least for the next few days. Let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Chris Bailey. Chris?
Yeah, mix of sun and clouds this afternoon, guys. Moral of the story, you get under sunshine, you're hitting 90. You stay with some clouds, and those temperatures stay into the 80s. No matter how you slice it, the muggy factor is going to be off the charts in the coming days. 89 popular, Frankfort, Richmond, Lexington, 87, a little cooler into southern parts of Kentucky. We look at the overall temperature map. Many areas today into eastern Kentucky not reaching 90 degrees. Getting close, though, with some upper 80s out there. The occasional 90 showing up. Live First Alert Defender, gradually, each and every day toward the weekend, we're going to see a little more action showing up on Defender. Not a whole lot across parts of the Bluegrass region as of now, though we're going to keep an eye on southern Kentucky into parts of the Lake Cumberland area, Whitley City, Williamsburg, Corbin, London, back over toward Middlesboro. Look at the showers and storms that are ongoing just to our south. Whatever is to our south is going to lift its way onto the north, so this action around the Smoky Mountains should be into southern Kentucky over the next hour and change. Evening forecast for out and about, small threat for a shower or thunderstorm, a high threat for a lot of humidity into the air, 77 degrees by the time we roll toward 11 o'clock. Focus to the forecast when I come back in a few minutes on the scattered thunderstorms that join our little muggy party. That's in less than 10 minutes.
Thank you, Chris. And despite the muggy party and the heat, many people taking advantage of the sunshine there. Families coming out to Jacobson Park today on Richmond Road to feed the ducks, lay out in the sun, and enjoy the summer-like weather.
A Central Kentucky man was in court after investigators found child pornography inside his home last week. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Casey County. Brian Evans was in court this morning for a preliminary hearing. Investigators from Attorney General Jack Conway's crime unit arrested Evans at his home in Liberty last week. They said they were searching for computers and other equipment used to distribute images and video of exploited children. Evans is in the Casey County Detention Center. In Gallatin County, the family of an amateur driver killed in a crash at the Kentucky Speedway last year has filed a lawsuit. Family members claim the race car's steering wheel broke off in his hands as he roared around the track at more than 100 miles an hour. Stephen Cox, a pharmacist from Ohio, crashed into a wall during the Rusty Wallace racing experience last September. He died a week later. And in Magoffin County, a farm with a rich history was nominated to be listed in the National Register of Historic Places. Ben Gardner now runs the Gardner Farm Stand in Salyersville. In the 1830s, Gardner's family moved from their home in Boston with the intention of moving south. Their destination was Louisiana, but a small plot of land in the hills of what was then Virginia changed all that. Gardner is 5 generations removed from his ancestors who settled there, but he does his best to keep the memory alive.
During our early years, we really wasn't interested too much in the history. It's only after, I guess, I retired and come back here that we became more interested in finding out our history and preserving it.
The National Park Service will now review the farmstead's nomination.
Officers say it's like Christmas for Kentucky State Police. Today, many of them were honored for their achievements and hard work. Officers received awards like the Governor's Medal of Valor, KSP Trooper of the Year, Detective of the Year, and many others.
I think being commissioner of the state police, particularly on a day like this, when you see just some incredible feats of bravery and strength and life-saving events that our people do almost every day across the state, it makes you very proud to be able to lead a group of men and women that are of the caliber that the Kentucky State Police are.
The officers were honored today at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Lexington.
The news shocked a Central Kentucky community. Lawrenceburg police officer Kenny Goodlett was diagnosed with cancer. His condition continues to get worse. But the community and his family refuse to give up hope. They're coming together to raise money for Officer Goodlett. Hillary Thornton has a story that's new at 5:30.
It's been hitting us so fast. This has happened in the last month. Started out, we thought he had pneumonia. And just waiting for him to get over that, and now hospice has been called in.
Officer Kenny Goodlett's partner describes him as an exceptional officer.
Can be stern when needed and hug a child when needed.
Something shown as badge number 132 no longer patrols the streets, but fights for his life.
We've had several people that actually Officer Goodlett has arrested that came up and made donations and bought t-shirts, and I had one call me this morning just to say that, let us know that they were thinking about him. So it just goes to show the kind of person he is.
Rallying around the officer and his family, as well as his law enforcement family, as they work to stay strong for a man who has dedicated his life to helping others.
We are called when things are bad. We try to fix a situation. This is a situation we cannot fix. We can just try and help.
Even though he can no longer speak, his partner says not a day goes by that he does not visit him, and he knows that he is staying positive and wants them to do the same.
He's always one that's tried to keep us up, and we're in a spot where we're trying to keep him up. He loves the company, just by the expression of his face. When you show up to see him, reach out and hold your hand, and just a good hug. You know, he's doing what he can do, and we're doing what we can do.
In Lawrenceburg, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
A team will walk in support of Officer Goodlett at Relay for Life tomorrow. There will also be a benefit in his honor Saturday night at 6.
Today we've reported on police checking on 200 convicted sex offenders in southern Kentucky to make sure they are following the law. Our good question tonight, following up on that, Is there a number I can call to be alerted if a registered sex offender is moving into my neighborhood? Yes, it's called the Sex Offender Alert Line. It's 1-866-564-5652. You call this number, give them your telephone number, and up to 3 zip codes to monitor. If state police are notified that a registered sex offender is moving into a zip code that you entered, you'll receive a notification call. This will also direct you to the State Police Sex Offender Registry website for more information. That website is kspsor.state.ky.us. The alert line system will try to call you every 2 hours during a 24-hour period from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. If you have a good question, go to WKYT.com.
A World War II veteran will try her hand at baseball. Still to come on WKYT News at 5:30, how this special woman is being honored this weekend in Lexington. And Humane Society leaders say summer means an increase in the number of homeless kittens. Why they say it's important to get pets spayed or neutered.
I'm Victor Puente in Madison County, where commercial vehicle enforcement showed us some of the steps they take to try to reduce accidents involving tractor trailers. Coming up at 6, we'll show you what they said you can do to help.
A World War II veteran will get a special honor this weekend. Margaret Mary Ballard will get to throw out the first pitch at Saturday's Legends game.
The 95-year-old veteran is being honored as part of Military Appreciation Night. She tells our Mark Barber why this is just one way she can help people remember the past.
At the end of a quiet, stately street in Lexington lives a woman who matches her setting. The unhurried, unworried 95-year-old has 7 children, 16 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. While Margaret Mary Ballard has seen the joys of a full life, she has also seen the scars of war.
The first casualties of D-Day, the amputees, were sent back to the United States. And I flew with one of the first of those airplanes.
After she served her country as a nurse for 2 years in England, the girl from the Northeast married a doctor and followed him to Lexington. Ballard has pretty much done it all in her 95 years. But on Saturday, this great-grandmother will join a list of other greats to throw the first pitch for the Lexington Legends.
I'm not an athletic type, so I thought, well, after all, whether I throw it a foot or 10 feet doesn't really make much difference. That's not the purpose of it.
The World War II veteran, who has served on some very important missions, now has a new mission. Her memory is still razor sharp, and she's aiming to share it. She hopes her thoughts will stick with the fans in the stands.
And I want people to know that World War II was a big part of our world at one time. I feel I have to represent
in Lexington
what has passed.
Mark Barber, WKYT.
What a great story. The game for the Legends Military Appreciation Night begins at 7 o'clock Saturday night.
It's not uncommon for the cat population to increase during the summer months, but now the Scott County Humane Society is looking for homes for more than 20 kittens. Humane Society leaders are reminding folks to get their pets spayed or neutered, and they say this can even have other health benefits for your pets. It can even prevent certain types of reproductive cancers.
It puts a strain on us because we only have so much room and so many foster homes. We want to rescue as many as we possibly can. I mean, the last thing we want to hear is that there's just so many kittens and they're getting euthanized. That just breaks our hearts.
If you live in Scott County, the cost to spay or neuter your pet is $28 for cats and $58 for dogs.